There's one habit quietly running your life, and you don't even see it. It's the invisible chain that keeps you stuck. The silent thief that robs you of time, energy, and opportunity. And the worst part, you let it in. Let me ask you something. How many times have you said, I'll start tomorrow? How often have you let doubt, distractions, or comfort dictate your choices? This habit sneaks in every day, controlling your actions before you even realize it. It's the habit of hesitation. Hesitation kills momentum. It makes you second guess yourself, overthink, and stay in the same place while life moves forward without you. It disguises itself as waiting for the right time, when really it's fear in a different outfit. If you don't break this cycle, it will own you. But if you recognize it, if you face it head on, you take back control, and that changes everything. 4-0. You're moving, but are you really making progress? Think about it for a second. How often do you find yourself going through the motions, feeling busy, but looking back and realizing you're stuck in the same spot? That's the illusion of effort. You feel like you're working hard, you're hustling, grinding, checking things off your to-do list, but ask yourself, are those actions moving you closer to your goals or just keeping you occupied? It's easy to get trapped in a cycle of motion without direction. You wake up, go to work, take care of responsibilities, and repeat. But without purpose, that motion doesn't lead to growth. It's like running on a treadmill. You're sweating, your heart's racing, but you're not going anywhere. So I challenge you, look at your daily routines. What's the point of it all? Is your effort focused, or is it just noise? Don't settle for illusionary progress. Move with intention. Take a step back, refocus, and make sure each move you make brings you closer to your true purpose. 4-0, many wasted time isn't just lost minutes, it's lost potential. Every second you spend standing still, not growing, not challenging yourself, you're stealing from your future. Stagnation isn't just about being physically idle, it's about being mentally and emotionally stuck. You've got all this untapped power inside of you, but you let it sit dormant, waiting for some magical moment to change. Let me tell you something, if you keep waiting for the right time, if you keep pushing things off, you're not just delaying success, you're sabotaging it. Stagnation is the silent thief that robs you of everything you could have been, everything you could have accomplished. It's like a slow creeping poison. Day after day you tell yourself it's fine, tomorrow, next week, next year, but the truth is, tomorrow isn't promised. And if you keep living in that comfort zone, you'll wake up one day to find all those years vanished. Change is uncomfortable, growth hurts, but standing still, that's the real pain. So ask yourself, are you gonna stay where you are, or will you push through the discomfort and take action now? Because the longer you wait, the more you lose. 4-0, mini O. What separates the ones who break free from the ones who stay stuck? It's one simple thing, a mindset shift. The difference is in how they see the world and themselves. Those who stay trapped in the cycle believe the struggle is all there is. They accept the pain, the frustration, the grind. But those who break free, they see every challenge as an opportunity to grow. They stop asking why me and start asking what's next. You want to break the cycle? It starts with recognizing that your circumstances don't define you, your decisions do. The moment you decide to break free from the excuses, from the limiting beliefs, that's the moment everything changes. You have to understand that the power to move forward is in your hands right now. Not tomorrow, not next week. This shift is tough, but it's also the most freeing thing you'll ever experience, and guess what? The transformation begins the moment you stop waiting for change and start creating it. You're not stuck. You're just one decision away from a whole new life. The question is, are you ready to make it? 4-0 mini OU. You think you're in control, but let me tell you something. There's one habit running the show, and it's not on your side. That habit is procrastination. It's the silent killer of dreams, slowly strangling your potential one delayed decision at a time. Procrastination doesn't scream, it doesn't shout, it's sneaky. It creeps in disguised as rational delays, as I'll start tomorrow, or I need to wait for the perfect time. But here's the truth, there is no perfect time, there is only now. It feels harmless at first, right? I'll get to it later. You've got time. You've got the plan, but the more you let that voice take control, the more it chips away at your future. The clock doesn't stop for anyone, and while you're waiting for the stars to align, the world keeps moving forward. The people who succeed, the ones who break through, are the ones who learn to stop waiting. They took action in the face of uncertainty. They understood that the right time is the time you make right now. You may think you're just resting, taking a break, but you're really just building walls around your goals. Every minute you waste is a minute you'll never get back. If you keep letting procrastination control your decisions, it will control your destiny. The longer you wait, the harder it gets to start. If you want your dreams to come alive, you've got to stop waiting for the perfect moment and create it. O. Let me tell you something important. Respect is earned, not given. It's not something you can demand, and it's certainly not something you get by just showing up. Respect is built on the foundation of your actions, your words, and your mindset. Now, I want you to pay close attention, because if you want respect, there are 5 words you must never, ever say. And I'll tell you exactly why. The first word is I can't. Stop telling yourself you can't. The moment you say those words, you surrender your power. You throw in the towel before you even begin. Let me ask you this. Who in their right mind respects someone who refuses to even try? You don't build respect by giving up at the first hurdle. You build it by pushing through, even when it's hard, even when it's uncomfortable. When you say, I can't, you close the door to opportunity. Instead, say, how can I? Take ownership of your potential, and others will follow your lead. Next is it's too late. No, it is never too late. Look at these stories of people who achieved greatness. People like Colonel Sanders, who didn't franchise KFC until he was 65, or Vera Wang, who didn't start designing dresses until she was 40. They didn't say it's too late. They took action. Time waits for no one, but there's always a chance to start fresh. Never say it's too late to go after what you want. Then there's I'm not good enough. It's a lie you've been telling yourself. Let me be clear, if you don't believe in your worth, no one else will. You are enough, just as you are. The path to respect begins with self-belief. If you don't have confidence in your abilities, you will never rise above mediocrity. Start believing in your potential and watch how others begin to respect you. The fourth one is I don't have time. What you're really saying is it's not a priority. We all have 24 hours in a day. The question is, how are you choosing to spend them? If something matters to you, you make the time. If you can't make the time, then don't complain about where you're at. You can't demand respect if you're constantly wasting the gift of time. Respect yourself enough to spend your time wisely. Finally, it's too hard. Life isn't supposed to be easy. If it were, everyone would be doing it. The hard things are what shape you. They test your strength, your resilience, your grit. The people who get the respect are the ones who take on the challenges, the ones who rise to the occasion, even when it feels like the odds are stacked against them. When you face difficulties head on, that's when respect is earned. So remember this, if you want respect, change the words you use. Eliminate these 5 phrases from your vocabulary and replace them with action, determination, and self-belief. Words shape your destiny, and what you speak is what you'll create. Choose your words wisely, because respect is built from the inside out, and it begins with how you talk to yourself. Respect yourself first, and the world will follow. 4-0, mini O. Let me ask you something. How many times have you thought, I'll start tomorrow? How many times have you pushed your dreams off, telling yourself it's not the right time? I'm here to tell you, every day you delay, someone else is taking the shot you won't. That's right. You think you have all the time in the world, but let me paint you a picture. Think of life like a race. Every single day is another lap. You're standing at the starting line, but so is everyone else. You hesitate just for a second, and in that second, someone else takes the first step, then another, and another. And while you stand there waiting for the perfect moment, the finish line gets further away. The problem is the race isn't waiting for you. Time doesn't stop for hesitation. It doesn't wait for your plans to come together, it just keeps moving. The cost of waiting is steep, and it's compounded over time. A day becomes a week becomes a month, and a month becomes a year. Now think about it. How many years have you already lost to hesitation? How many dreams have you put on hold because you convinced yourself that the timing wasn't right? Those small delays add up, and one day you'll look back and realize that the opportunity you waited for passed you by, while someone else took the risk you were too afraid to take. Don't let that be you. Don't let your life be defined by the moments you didn't take action. Every minute you wait is a minute you'll never get back. If you want change, if you want success, it's not gonna wait for you to be ready. It's time to take that first step. Now. 4-0, mini O, you think you have time? Let me tell you something. Time is bleeding out while you hesitate. Every day, you're waking up thinking there's a tomorrow, thinking that you'll have more time to make your move. But here's the cold hard truth. Tomorrow's never promised. It's just a lie we tell ourselves to delay what we know we need to do today. You look around and see others working, grinding, pushing forward, and you convince yourself I'll catch up later. But while you're waiting for the right moment, you're losing ground. It's easy to think time is unlimited when you're comfortable, but every second you waste is gone forever. It doesn't wait for you to get comfortable. It doesn't pause while you wait for perfect conditions. It keeps ticking away. And when you finally realize it, you'll see that all the time you thought you had was just an illusion. You think you have time. Well, time doesn't care about your excuses. It doesn't care that you're waiting for the right time. Life doesn't wait for perfect conditions. It moves forward, and if you don't act now, you'll be left behind. It's time to wake up. If you don't make a move today, you may never make one at all. You can sit there thinking you have time, but one day you'll realize it's already too late. Stop waiting, there's no time to waste. Take action now or risk never acting at all. Every idea you sit on, someone else is turning it into reality. Think about it. Every moment you hesitate, every second you waste, someone else is out there working. They're out there putting in the time, making the moves. And while you're stuck in your head, wondering if it's the right time, they're making it the right time. And that gap is one between where you are and where you want to be is getting wider and wider. You know what's dangerous? It's the I'll do it tomorrow mindset. That mindset is a trap. Every time you say tomorrow, you're digging yourself deeper into a hole of procrastination, and soon enough, tomorrow turns into never. You convince yourself that you have more time, that there's no rush. But the truth is, every second counts. The longer you wait, the more that opportunity slips through your fingers. Every second that ticks away is a second someone else uses to get closer to their goal. Here's the real danger. Hesitation doesn't just steal opportunities, it strengthens mental chains. The more you think about it, the harder it becomes to take that first step. It becomes easier to stay comfortable. And comfort doesn't lead to greatness. Comfort doesn't lead to success. So stop thinking about it. Stop delaying. Your future self is waiting for you to act now, not tomorrow. Every second you delay is a second lost forever. Don't let it slip away. For many. Some had talent but never took the leap. Others had less talent but never stopped moving. Let me ask you this. How many times have you seen someone with amazing potential? Someone who was meant to do something great, but they never took the first step. They hesitated, they doubted, they thought they had more time. And what happened? That talent, that promise, it slipped away, buried beneath layers of fear and inaction. Look at the story of someone like Steve Jobs. He didn't have all the answers. He didn't have a perfect path, but he took the leap. He fought through the fear, the criticism, the uncertainty. He didn't sit back and wait for the right moment or the perfect conditions. He made the moment right by taking action, and because of that, he changed the world. Contrast that with those who held back. Think about all the people who have incredible ideas, but sit on them, waiting for the perfect time to start. How many of them are still waiting today? How many people with potential die with that potential inside them, not realizing that it was never about waiting for the perfect moment. It was about doing something now, even if it wasn't perfect. You see, action trumps hesitation every time. It's not always the most talented person who succeeds. It's the person who doesn't stop moving, the one who keeps pushing despite the fear, the failures, the setbacks. When you take action, when you push past hesitation, you open up doors that hesitation never could. The potential is there, but it's up to you to unlock it. Don't be the one who looks back years from now wondering, what if? Be the one who says, I did it. Take that leap. Because action is where greatness begins. You think you have time, but the more you take 3 years from now, an excitement stab. What to make people recognize? What if I had just started? What if I had done for it when I had the chance? What he did, you never say never do. Because all just 71 will say, you have enough excuses. You think you have time, but picture the weight of that regret, the missed opportunities, the moments you could have seized but didn't. The relationships you could have built, the businesses you could have started, the dreams you could have chased, gone. All of them swallowed up by hesitation and self-doubt. The potential you had, it's still there, but now it's buried beneath years of what-ifs and maybe next times. Can you feel the heaviness of that regret? The realization that you're not where you could have been, not because you didn't have the ability, but because you didn't act. You were waiting for the right moment, but the right moment never came. Life doesn't wait for you to be ready. It moves, it changes. And if you don't move with it, you get left behind. Now think about how you'll feel when you finally realize that the only thing standing between you and your dreams was your own fear. Let me tell you something. Regret is a far heavier burden to carry than failure. At least with failure, you learn something. But regret is a silent killer, a slow, painful ache that never goes away. Don't wait for the nightmare of regret to become your reality. Act now. Make the decision to start, to move, to fight. Because every second you delay is one more step closer to a future you'll never be able to change. Or mini. Let me ask you something you need to think about deeply. Are you okay with looking back one day and knowing you never chased what you truly wanted? Are you comfortable with the idea of waking up years from now and realizing that your dreams, your passions, your potential were all left untried, left to gather dust because you never took the chance? I know this might sting, but it's a question you have to answer honestly. Right now, today, are you okay with living a life of what ifs? Are you content with going through the motions, never stepping outside the comfortable, never pushing the boundaries of what you know? Or do you feel something in your gut, a hunger, a fire, a drive that keeps telling you there's more to be done, more to be experienced, more to be achieved? You see, we all have a choice. We can play it safe, we can stay in the comfort zone, and we can avoid the pain of failure. But let me tell you something. Comfort is a silent killer of dreams. It's in those moments of complacency, when we choose easy over challenge, that we betray our own potential. We rob ourselves of what could be the most powerful chapters of our lives. The truth is, if you don't change now, if you don't make a move today, regret will follow you for the rest of your life. You won't escape it. It will sit there in the back of your mind, a reminder that you could have done more, been more, achieved more, but you didn't. This is your turning point, your moment of decision. Change starts now, or regret follows forever. It's as simple as that. Every second you hesitate is a second you'll never get back. Don't let hesitation be your legacy. Don't let indecision be your story. The question is, are you ready to change? Because time waits for no one. 4-0 mini, let me tell you something. There are 3 words, 3 simple, everyday words that are silently killing your dreams. They might seem harmless, but they're building walls around your potential, one excuse at a time. These words are so familiar, you've probably said them to yourself more times than you realize. Those 3 words, I can't because. Think about it. How many times have you said, I can't start a business because I don't have experience, or I can't get in shape because I'm too busy, or I can't follow my passion because I'm not good enough? I'll tell you something, those words are a trap, a lie you tell yourself to stay comfortable. But comfort is the enemy of growth. I can't because. That's the story you've been telling yourself for years, and it's the reason you're stuck. Fear of the unknown, fear of failure, fear of rejection, they all sound scary, right? But these fears are nothing compared to the weight of those 3 words. The real danger isn't the fear. The real danger is letting I can't because control you. If you keep using I can't because as your excuse, you'll never move forward. You'll never build the business, lose the weight, write the book, or take the leap into the life you know you deserve. You'll stay right where you are, stuck in your own limitations. But here's the thing. You don't have to stay stuck. You don't have to live your life based on a set of excuses that aren't even true. If you want to break free from those walls, you have to rewrite the story. Instead of I can't because, it needs to be I will because. I will start today. I will make time, even if it means waking up earlier. I will figure it out as I go. Every successful person, whether it's Oprah Winfrey, Steve Jobs, or the single mother who worked 2 jobs to feed her kids, had to push past those same I can't moments. They chose to act in spite of their doubts, and you can do the same. You don't have to have it all figured out to start. You just need to start. So ask yourself, are you going to keep saying I can't and watch your dreams fade away? Or will you finally break free from the prison of excuses and say, I will? The choice is yours, and it starts right now. 4-0 mini, oh, everyone loves a success story, don't they? We all look up to those who've made it to the top thinking, wow, they're so lucky. They were just born with something special. But let me ask you something. How many people actually know what it takes to get there? How many people understand the blood, sweat, and tears behind every success story? You see, success isn't about talent alone. It's not about being in the right place at the right time. It's not even about luck. No, success is about refusing to accept limits. It's about choosing not to be defined by your circumstances. It's about resilience, determination, and the decision to keep pushing when the world tells you to stop. Let's talk about Michael Jordan, the greatest basketball player in history. 6-time NBA champion, 5-time MVP, a name that will never be forgotten. But let's rewind to his high school days, sophomore year. Jordan, like so many young athletes, had a dream to play on the varsity basketball team. And he tried out, he gave it everything he had. And what happened? He got cut. Think about that. At 15 years old, Michael Jordan was told he wasn't good enough. Imagine the heartbreak, the humiliation, the doubts that crept into his mind. Most people after that kind of rejection would have given up. Most people would have taken that as a sign that maybe this wasn't for them. Maybe they weren't cut out for greatness. But not Michael Jordan. He didn't quit. He didn't let that failure define him. That day he went home, locked himself in his room, and cried. Yes, he cried. But after that, he made a decision that would change the course of his life. He decided that he wasn't going to let that no be the end of his story. He refused to accept it. He was going to work harder, push further, and prove everyone wrong. You see, it wasn't the talent that made Michael Jordan great, it was his mindset. It was his refusal to be stopped by a setback. It was his relentless pursuit of excellence, no matter the odds. So let me ask you, what are you letting stop you? What setbacks have you faced that made you think, maybe I'm not good enough? Is it time to accept those limits, or is it time to push through them? Because here's the truth, success doesn't come to those who quit when things get hard. It comes to those who get back up, who try again, and who refuse to let failure be the end of their story. Don't let your setbacks define you, let them fuel you. Let them remind you that greatness is built through persistence, not perfection. And like Michael Jordan, when the world tells you you're not enough, tell them, watch me. Because success, it's not about luck, it's about what you choose to do when the world tells you it's not your time. Will you rise? Will you fight? Will you refuse to accept anything less than your best? The choice is yours. 4-0, meaning, let me tell you something. Rejection doesn't have to be the end. It doesn't have to be a sign that you're not good enough. If you let it, rejection can be the thing that drives you, that pushes you harder than ever before. Remember Michael Jordan, the greatest basketball player to ever live? You know the story of how he got cut from his high school varsity team, right? But here's the thing that most people miss. The rejection didn't break him. It didn't stop him from chasing his dream. It did the opposite. It fueled him. Every morning before school, when most kids were still asleep, Michael Jordan was up at dawn, already on the court, putting in the work. Every night after practice, when everyone else was heading home, he stayed longer, sharpening his skills. He didn't just practice, he worked tirelessly to become something more. He built himself into a champion, one shot, one sprint, one painful workout at a time. He wasn't waiting for greatness to find him, he was chasing it with everything he had. And we all know how that story ends. 6-time NBA champion, 5-time MVP, a legacy that will never be forgotten. But here's the truth, Michael Jordan wasn't born great, he chose to be great. He chose to take the rejection, the failure, and turn it into the fuel that drove him. So let me ask you, what excuse are you making right now? What moment of rejection are you letting define you? Is it the failure you faced last year? The opportunity you missed? The chance you were too afraid to take? Because here's the thing, you have a choice. You can let failure break you, or you can let it build you. You can let every setback, every obstacle, every no become a reason to quit, or you can use it as a reason to push harder. And that choice, it's all yours. You can either stay stuck in the past, letting rejection hold you back, or you can step forward, stronger and more determined than ever. The greatest transformations come when we push through our struggles, when we refuse to let them define us. So what's it gonna be? Are you gonna let rejection stop you? Or are you gonna let it fuel your journey to greatness? The power is in your hands, and trust me, you have what it takes. Just like Michael Jordan, you don't need anyone's permission to be great. You just need to decide, and then you go make it happen. 4-0, imagine risking everything you have, your money, your reputation, your future, on a vision that everyone tells you is impossible. Now let that sink in. Think about the fear, the doubt, the pressure. Most people would shy away from that kind of challenge. They would play it safe. They would listen to the naysayers and give up before they even started, but not Elon Musk. He was told that his ideas were too big, too far-fetched, that it was crazy to think he could build a car company that made electric cars affordable and mainstream, and that trying to make space travel possible for everyday people, well, that was downright impossible. But Elon Musk didn't accept those limitations. He didn't listen to the voice of doubt. Instead, he went all in. He put his money, his time, and his energy into something that seemed like a pipe dream. In the early days, he poured millions of dollars into Tesla and SpaceX, his entire fortune, in fact, because he believed. He believed in a future that no one else saw. He didn't just accept the status quo, he refused to let failure stop him. Instead, he chose to believe in his vision, even when the world told him it couldn't be done. And we all know how that story ends. Today, Elon Musk is the billionaire behind Tesla and SpaceX. He didn't just disrupt the auto industry, he didn't just revolutionize space travel, he reshaped what we believe is possible. But here's the most important lesson. Elon Musk didn't let the world's limitations become his own. He refused to accept that just because something hadn't been done before, it couldn't be done. He was willing to risk it all, to face the doubt, the rejection, and the failure because he believed in his mission. So let me ask you, what limitations are you accepting in your life? What dreams have you tucked away because the world told you they were impossible? Are you letting fear and doubt hold you back from reaching your full potential? Because here's the truth, that if you don't challenge the limitations placed on you, you'll stay right where you are. But if you refuse to accept those limitations, that's when the impossible becomes possible. Just like Elon Musk, you have the power to create a future that others may not understand. You have the power to take risks, to go after your vision, no matter how impossible it seems. You just have to make the decision. Will you play it safe, or will you refuse to accept limitations and chase your dreams with everything you've got? The choice is yours. And if you decide to believe in your vision, to push beyond the boundaries of what's possible, you might just end up changing the world. 4.0 Mini-O, his companies were collapsing. Tesla was running out of money. SpaceX had just suffered 3 consecutive rocket failures. The experts laughed at him. The media called him a fool. Investors pulled out one by one. Imagine the pressure. Picture the weight of the world on your shoulders. You put everything into your dream. You've invested not just your money, but your time, your energy, your heart. And yet all you hear is failure. All you see are obstacles, walls, and dead ends. Most people would have quit. They would have bowed their heads and accepted that maybe they weren't cut out for it. They would have walked away, saving face, preserving what was left of their reputation. But not him. He had a choice. Accept defeat or go all in. He could have chosen the easy path, the one where he didn't risk any more of his personal fortune, the path where he could save himself from further embarrassment. Or he could gamble everything on one final attempt, one final launch. And he did it. He bet everything he had on that 4th rocket. If it failed, he was done. All the money, all the years of work, all the sacrifices, gone. He would be known as a failed entrepreneur, a cautionary tale for others to learn from. But if it succeeded, it would change everything. And when that 4th rocket launched, it didn't just reach orbit, it changed history. That moment was the turning point. That moment was the difference between success and failure, between greatness and mediocrity. It was the product of 3 catastrophic failures, but it was also the fruit of relentless determination, of refusal to accept defeat. Now think about your own life. How many times have you faced failure? How many setbacks have you had that made you want to quit? How many times have you been knocked down, told you weren't enough, or faced circumstances that seemed impossible to overcome? Most people would have given up after 1 failure. Maybe 2, but 3 catastrophic failures, the pressure to walk away is immense. But what if that 3rd failure is the one that pushes you to greatness? What if, just like that 4th rocket, it's only a matter of holding on a little longer? Here's the truth. You have to push through. You have to keep going even when everyone else has counted you out. If you don't control your own narrative, if you don't make the decision to go all in when everything is on the line, then it will control you. The only question you need to ask yourself is, what will you do when faced with your own failures? Will you let them break you, or will you use them to fuel your next step forward? Because if you refuse to quit, if you push just one more time, just one more step, you might just find your own history-changing moment waiting for you on the other side. 4.0 Mini-O. They reach a point where the challenges become too much, where the weight of failure starts to crush them, where the voices around them, the doubters, the critics, the people who said it couldn't be done, start to sound louder than their own dreams. And so they stop, they quit, They let the fear, the doubts, the obstacles define their path. They allow themselves to believe the lie that success is reserved for the lucky few, the ones who never fail, the ones who never face setbacks. But here's the truth. The ones who refuse to stop, they're the ones who change the world. Let me ask you something. What impossible goal have you been talked out of? What dream have you put on the shelf because people told you it couldn't happen? What passion have you silenced because someone said it's too risky, it's too hard, you're not good enough? The ones who win in life aren't the ones who avoid failure. No, they're the ones who face it head on. They're the ones who walk through it again and again until they break through. They understand that failure isn't the end, it's the beginning. It's the sign that you're pushing beyond your limits, beyond your comfort zone, beyond what most people would ever dare to try. So what's stopping you? Is it fear of failure, fear of rejection, the voices that tell you it can't be done? It's time to shut those voices down. It's time to take the next step. Because if you want to be one of the few who change the world, you've got to keep going when everyone else quits. The artist or innovator who faced rejection and kept going, everyone sees the success, the fame, the recognition, the applause, but no one sees the rejection, the heartache, the late nights, the self-doubt, the failures that came before the breakthrough. Take Oprah Winfrey, a global icon, a billionaire, a woman who reshaped the media industry. But do you know how she started? She was fired from her first job as a television reporter. Can you imagine that? A woman with so much potential, rejected, told she wasn't fit for television. But did she accept that as the final verdict on her dreams? Did she let that rejection define her? No, she got back up. She kept pushing. She didn't let one rejection, one failure stop her. She refused to be defined by someone else's opinion. She wasn't just aiming for success, she was aiming to prove that no matter what anyone said, her vision mattered. And today, Oprah is not just a media mogul, she's an inspiration to millions. She's someone who took rejection and used it as fuel. And that's what you need to understand. Rejection is not the end of your journey, it's just part of it. Every no brings you closer to a yes. Every setback strengthens your resolve. The key is in how you respond. Do you quit or do you rise? So ask yourself, how many no's are you willing to take before you decide you're done? How many setbacks will it take for you to decide that your dream is worth fighting for? Because the people who make it, who really make it, are the ones who keep moving forward even when the world tells them to stop. 4-0 mini-O. Think about that for a moment. A young, ambitious woman who had a dream, a passion, and a burning desire to make a difference, told she wasn't fit for TV. Her boss looked her in the eye and told her she wasn't fit for TV. Now, can you imagine that kind of rejection? The pain of hearing someone tell you that your dream, your vision, your very being isn't enough. How many of you have faced that moment when someone told you your dream was too big, too impossible, too out of reach? How many of you have had your abilities questioned, your potential doubted, or your vision laughed at? It's easy to believe it when the world tells you no. It's easy to take that first hit and think, maybe they're right. Maybe I'm not good enough. But let me tell you something, rejection is not the end, it's a test. A test of your will, your resilience, and your ability to rise after a fall. One of the most powerful media personalities of all time was told she didn't belong in media, but she didn't accept that. She didn't let someone else's opinion dictate her future. She refused to believe that rejection was her final chapter. Instead, she made it her motivation. She could have walked away. She could have shrunk into the shadows, convinced that maybe she wasn't cut out for this after all. But she didn't. She kept going. She owned her voice. She leaned into what made her different instead of trying to fit someone else's mold. She took the things that made her unique and built a platform that changed the way we all look at media, at success, and at what's possible. What can we learn from this? You see, rejection isn't the end of the road. It's just a test. A test of your perseverance, a test of how badly you want it, a test of whether you'll let others define you or if you'll define yourself. Because when you face rejection, you face two choices. You can let it break you, or you can let it make you stronger. You can let it hold you back, or you can turn it into fuel for the fire that will drive you forward. It's your choice every time, every moment, every failure. So let me ask you, are you going to let rejection stop you? Or are you going to use it as the very thing that pushes you to prove everyone wrong? Remember, rejection is not the end of the story. It's just the beginning of your success story. Keep going, keep fighting, keep believing in yourself. You're just getting started. 4-0, mini-O, it will tell you that your dreams are too big, that your vision is too bold, that you don't have what it takes. And here's the harsh truth. Most people will listen to that no. They'll take it to heart and they'll stop before they even start. But the question is, will you accept it? Or will you decide, like Oprah, like Jordan, like Musk, that your vision is stronger than someone else's doubt? You've got a choice that will determine everything about your future. When the world tells you no, will you shrink back or will you stand up and say, not today? Because you know what? The ones who keep going, despite the rejection, despite the failures, that's where the magic happens. Those are the people who shape the future. They are the ones who break through the walls that others built. Because if you refuse to quit, if you refuse to let failure define you, then you're already ahead of 99% of the world. Let me repeat that, 99% of the world. Most people let failure stop them. Most people quit at the first sign of struggle. But you're made of something different. You're made of grit, perseverance, and the willingness to keep pushing even when the odds are stacked against you. Now the only question left is, what are you going to do next? What's your next move? What will you do when failure knocks on your door? Will you open it and let it in, or will you push it away and keep charging forward? Because it's not the setbacks that define you, it's what you do after the setback that matters. Let me tell you something. There are two types of people in this world. There are the powerful and there are the passive. The powerful are the ones who decide, they make a choice and they act on it. They don't waste time second guessing. They don't wait for someone's approval. They don't look for the right moment. No, they make the moment right. They see what they want and they go get it. And then there are the passive, the ones who hesitate, the ones who wait for signs, for permission, for things to line up perfectly before they move. They keep looking for the perfect time, and in doing so, they waste the only time they have. They second guess themselves into stagnation. You have a choice right here, right now. Do you want to be powerful, or do you want to be passive? Do you want to take control of your life and your dreams, or do you want to sit back and let time pass you by? The decision is yours, but let me tell you this, you cannot afford to wait. Every moment you hesitate is a moment lost. Every second you spend doubting yourself is a second that someone else is out there taking action. Don't let them outwork you. Don't let them outdream you. Because if you're not moving forward, you're moving backward. It's that simple. Time waits for no one. So I ask you again, what are you going to do next? Let's be honest with each other for a moment. There's no mystery here. The powerful rise. They push through, they break down barriers, they redefine what's possible. The passive, they watch, they wait for things to happen, and they wonder why nothing changes. So, what's the difference? What separates the people who rise above from those who stay stuck? It's not luck, it's not talent, it's not even intelligence. The only thing separating the two is decisiveness. You heard me right, it's about making decisions. Big ones, small ones, every single day. The powerful don't wait for the perfect time to act. They decide and they move. They don't hesitate. They don't look for permission. They don't ask for signs. They decide and then they take action. You want to know what the secret is? Leaders, champions, top performers, they all have one thing in common. They don't waste time wondering what if or should I. They act. And when things don't go according to plan, they adapt. But the key is they make decisions. Let me tell you something. Indecision is the enemy of progress. It is the fastest way to stay stuck, to stay in the same place, watching while the world moves forward without you. So ask yourself, how many times have you hesitated? How many times have you been paralyzed by the fear of making the wrong choice? How many opportunities have slipped through your fingers because you waited too long? The powerful are decisive, and that's why they win. They know that no decision is worse than a wrong decision. Because at least with a wrong decision, they can learn, adjust, and keep moving. But with indecision, they stay where they are, forever stuck in the waiting game. Now look at your life, look at your goals. Are you waiting or are you moving? Decide today, right now. Don't wait another moment. If you want something, don't hesitate. Don't sit there asking for permission. Don't wait for the stars to align. You make the decision and you own it. Because when you own your decisions, you own your future. And that, my friends, is the key to winning. 4-0 mini-O. Let me make something clear. Every time you hesitate, every time you hold back because you're unsure or scared, someone else is out there taking action. Someone else is stepping into the opportunity that you let slip away. And that someone else, they're getting ahead. They're moving forward while you're stuck in the waiting game. The world doesn't wait for you to catch up or to feel comfortable or to feel ready. The clock keeps ticking and the opportunities don't wait for anyone. You think you're playing it safe by hesitating. But let me tell you something, the real risk is waiting. The real risk is doing nothing. You're losing out on your dreams, your potential, because you're too afraid to take the first step. But while you wait, others are taking that first step and they're changing their lives. You don't need more time. You don't need more information. You need to stop being passive and start being decisive. Stop making excuses. Stop waiting for the stars to align. You don't need more time or more information to make a decision. What you need is action. What you need is the courage to stop being passive and start being decisive. Decisiveness is what makes the difference between a dream that stays in your head and a dream that becomes your reality. There's no magic formula, no secret code. It's just about choosing to act right here, right now. If you mean yes, say it. If you mean no, own it. No more middle ground. Let me ask you something. How much of your life have you spent in the middle, stuck in that gray area, not fully committing to one side or the other? Not saying yes because you're scared of what might happen, but not saying no because you don't want to feel guilty. That middle ground, it's dangerous. It's the place where dreams go to die, because in the middle you're not moving forward and you're not walking away. You're just stuck. You know what's worse than failing? Not trying at all. Not deciding. And when you don't decide, you're allowing life to decide for you. You're allowing other people to take the chances you were too afraid to take. So the next time you're faced with a decision, don't sit in the maybe zone. Don't let the fear of commitment paralyze you. If you mean yes, say it. If you mean no, own it. No more middle ground. Maybe is the weakest place you can be. Maybe is where your dreams die. Maybe is where potential goes to sleep. It's the place where regret breeds. When you live in the land of maybe, you're giving yourself an easy way out. You're giving yourself permission to stay comfortable, to avoid the discomfort that comes with making a real decision. But here's the truth, comfort is the enemy of progress. You were meant for more than maybe. You were meant to act, to decide, and to move forward. Stop wasting your time in the middle. Right now, ask yourself, what are you holding back? What decision are you avoiding? What opportunity have you been waiting on? Don't let maybe be your answer anymore. Decide today, right now, and let's see how far you can go when you stop hesitating and start owning your choices. Or, oh, mini O, let's talk about maybe. Maybe is the silent killer of progress. It's the I'll think about it later that eats away at your potential 1 minute at a time. It wastes your time, drains your energy, and keeps you stuck in place. How many times have you said maybe to something that you knew deep down wasn't right for you? Maybe you didn't take that job opportunity because you were uncertain. Maybe you stayed in a situation you knew wasn't serving you because you didn't want to make a decision. What happened? You wasted time, you drained your energy, you stayed stuck, because when you don't fully commit to a yes, you never go all in. And when you don't fully commit to a no, you stay attached to something that's holding you back. Here's the truth. When you don't fully commit to a yes, you'll never go all in. And when you don't fully commit to a no, you're stuck in that gray area, holding on to something that's not moving you forward. That's the danger of maybe. It leaves you in limbo, paralyzed by indecision. You're too afraid to go for it, too afraid to walk away. You hold on to both, and in doing so, you have nothing. I've seen people settle for the maybe in their careers, relationships, and dreams, and then wonder why they feel stuck, lost, or unfulfilled. You don't achieve greatness by sitting on the fence. You don't build momentum by hesitating. You build momentum by committing. Think about it. How many times have you half-heartedly agreed to something you didn't want to do? How many times have you held on to something you should have walked away from? Now, reflect on your own life. How many times have you said yes when you didn't really mean it? You agreed to something out of obligation, fear, or pressure. Maybe you said yes to that toxic job, to that negative relationship, to that bad habit, because you didn't have the courage to say no. How many times have you held on to something you should have walked away from, only to find that it was dragging you down? That stops today. From now on, if you mean yes, say it with conviction. If you mean no, own it without guilt. It's time to stop playing games with yourself. From this moment forward, if you mean yes, say it with conviction, own it. No more half-hearted responses, no more lingering in that place of uncertainty. When you commit, you create movement. And if you mean no, Say it with strength, without guilt. Don't let anyone guilt trip you into saying yes to something that isn't right for you. No more soft answers. No more middle ground. No more hesitation. Let's put it into action. When you start making firm decisions, everything changes. When you say yes, you give yourself the power to go all in. When you say no, you cut the ties to what's holding you back. The hesitation stops. The middle ground stops. No more weak answers. The moment you make firm decisions is the moment you take control of your life. Think about the most successful people you admire. What do they have in common? They are decisive. They don't hesitate. They don't waste time in the land of maybe. They make their choices and they go after them with everything they've got. Because the second you get firm on your choices, you take control of your life. Every time you make a decision with conviction, you step into your power, you take control. The moment you stop sitting on the fence, stop being passive, is the moment you start living on your terms. And it's time to take that step. Right now, I want you to think about one thing in your life that you've been hesitating on. One decision you've been sitting on, waiting for the perfect moment. It's time to make that choice. Because when you get firm on your choices, you take control. And when you take control, that's when your life starts to change. No more maybe, only yes and no. And watch how quickly your life starts to move forward. 4-0 mini O, listen. If you want control over your life, you have to eliminate maybe, because maybe means you're not in charge. It means you're sitting back, waiting for someone else to decide, letting life dictate the pace. And let's be real, life will not wait for you. It won't pause while you try to figure things out. The world keeps moving, opportunities pass, and time doesn't rewind. Every time you say maybe, you're leaving that door open for someone else to walk through and make decisions for you. Maybe means you're not showing up for yourself. Maybe means you're not taking responsibility. Maybe means you're choosing uncertainty over clarity, hesitation over action. Let me tell you something. If you don't take control, life will control you. You have to understand the power of taking responsibility. The moment you decide, yes, I'm going for this, or no, this is not for me, you take the reins. You decide what happens next. And when you let maybe linger, you're just giving away your power. And that's a dangerous game to play. So here's what happens when you stop saying maybe. The first thing that happens is you start making decisions with purpose. You stop waiting for permission. You stop waiting for someone to tell you it's okay. When you stop saying maybe, you start to make clear, decisive moves toward your goals. Think about it. How many times have you waited, hesitated, not sure if you should take that leap, and in the meantime, someone else takes the step you were too afraid to take? Think about all the opportunities you've missed while you played it safe in the world of maybe. What would your life look like if you committed with conviction every time? When you stop saying maybe, you stop wasting time. You cut through the noise, you eliminate distractions, and you get straight to the point. There's no more dithering, no more should I. You become a force of action. Your decisions align with your purpose, and each step you take is a step forward, not sideways or backward. But here's the kicker. Stopping the maybe doesn't just mean saying yes to the right things, it also means saying no when something isn't aligned with your vision. It means cutting off the distractions, walking away from the people, places, and situations that drain you. And this is powerful because now you're taking control of what comes in, what stays, and what goes. The next thing that happens when you stop saying maybe is you stop living in fear of making the wrong decision. Fear of making the wrong choice is what keeps people paralyzed. It keeps them stuck. But once you embrace the power of decision making, fear loses its grip. You realize that no decision is ever truly wasted. Every choice teaches you something, whether it works out or not. It's better to make a decision and adjust than to sit in indecision, letting the world pass you by. Here's the truth. When you commit fully, whether to a yes or a no, you're owning your story. You're saying, this is who I am, this is where I'm going, and nothing is going to stop me. And that is where true power lies. It's not in the waiting, the hoping, the maybe. It's in the doing, the committing, and the acting. If you want to own your life, you need to stop leaving it up to chance. You need to stop leaving things in the hands of maybe. You need to decide, commit, and then give everything you have to making it happen. Because when you stop saying maybe, you stop being a passive participant in your life and become the leader of your journey. And let me tell you something, there is no greater power than that. 4-0 mini O. Let me ask you. How many hours, how many days, maybe even years have you spent on things that don't push you forward? How much energy have you poured into situations, people, or habits that leave you stuck in the same place. You know it, you felt it, and it's time to stop. When you let maybe rule your decisions, you're wasting time. Every moment you hesitate, every second you're unsure, you're giving that time away. Time doesn't wait for you to get your act together. It keeps moving, whether you decide to act or not, and that's what's dangerous. Because once it's gone, you can't get it back. But here's the truth. When you stop saying maybe, you stop wasting time. You stop letting things that don't matter distract you. You get clear about what serves you and what doesn't. You stop being indecisive and start being intentional. You stop being passive and become active. The things that drain you, the things that hold you back, they lose their power. This is the power of commitment. It forces you to look at everything in your life and ask, is this bringing me closer to my goals? Or is this wasting my time? And when you commit to yourself, you choose wisely. You stop wasting your time on distractions. And you start using it to build the future you want. You stop waiting for permission to go after what you want. How often have you held back, waiting for someone to tell you it's okay? How many times have you hesitated, wondering if you're good enough, if you're ready? Let me tell you something. Nobody is coming to give you permission. No one is going to knock on your door and say, now's your time. You have to give yourself permission. This is the shift you need. When you stop waiting for someone else to tell you it's okay to go after your dreams, you take back your power. You start to realize that the only permission you need is your own. The moment you decide you're worthy of success, you unlock doors that were once closed. The moment you decide to stop waiting and start acting, you step into a world of opportunity. Think about it. Who are the people who achieve greatness? They're the ones who stop asking for permission. They're the ones who take control of their own lives. And that's who you can be. But it starts with you. Stop looking around for validation. Stop waiting for the stars to align. Create your own opportunities and trust that you have what it takes to succeed. You start living with certainty, and that certainty creates confidence. Certainty is the fuel that drives confidence. Let me tell you something. When you know what you want and you commit to it fully, something shifts inside you. You stop doubting, you stop second guessing, and you start walking with purpose. You walk with your head held high, knowing exactly where you're going. Think about the people you respect, the ones who command attention when they speak. What's the difference between them and everyone else? It's their certainty. They know who they are. They know what they want. They make decisions and they stick to them. They don't waver. And that certainty creates confidence. Confidence that others can see, and more importantly, confidence you can feel. You see, confidence doesn't come from waiting for the perfect moment. It comes from making the decisions that matter and trusting yourself to act. When you stop saying maybe, you step into certainty. And with that certainty, you walk into every room with your head held high. You stop questioning your worth, your ability, and your decisions. And when you own that certainty, it becomes your superpower. When you stop hesitating, you become the kind of person who commands respect. Think about the people you admire most. Do they hesitate? Do they wait around for approval? No, they make decisions, they act. And that's why people respect them. People respect those who don't waver in their choices, who move forward with intention, who take charge of their lives and their futures. When you stop hesitating, when you start making clear, decisive choices, you become that person. You become the kind of person who others trust, who others look to for leadership. You become the kind of person who doesn't just go along with the crowd, you lead it. You inspire people. And isn't that what we all want? To live a life that matters, to create an impact, to leave a legacy. You have that power. Right now, the second you stop hesitating, the second you make decisions without fear of making mistakes, you start becoming that person. And trust me, when you show up with confidence and clarity, people notice, they respect it, they trust it, and they follow it. You become the kind of person who doesn't just exist, you lead. So here's the truth. This is who you were meant to be. You were never meant to sit on the sidelines waiting for something to happen. You were meant to lead. You were meant to take control, to make decisions, and to shape your future. You weren't born to blend in. You weren't born to play small. You were born to make an impact, to create something bigger than yourself, to show the world what you're made of. And that starts the moment you decide to stop sitting in maybe and start making bold, clear decisions. The moment you stop doubting yourself and start believing in your power. When you step into that space, when you step into your leadership, you stop existing. You start living. You start moving with purpose. You stop being a spectator in your own life, and you become the driving force behind your own success. So from this moment forward, maybe is no longer an option. You decide, you commit, you take control. Because this is your life, this is your time, and only you get to choose how it plays out. Let me ask you, are you ready to stop waiting? Are you ready to stop living in uncertainty? Are you ready to own your life? The moment you decide, the moment you commit, that's the moment everything changes. This is your journey, your choice. And from now on, maybe has no place in it. You decide, you commit, you take control, because this is your life, and only you get to choose how it plays out. 4-0 mini-O, let me tell you something. Procrastination isn't just about pushing tasks aside. It's about pushing your dreams aside. Every time you delay, every time you tell yourself, I'll do it tomorrow, you're not just postponing a task, you're delaying your future. You're widening the gap between where you are right now and where you want to be. And the worst part, success doesn't wait for the right moment. It's not gonna knock on your door when you're finally ready. It rewards the people who take action, even when they're unsure, even when they're uncomfortable, even when they don't feel 100% ready. Think about it. How many times have you told yourself, I'll get started next week? Or when the time is right, I'll take that leap. How many opportunities have you let slip through your fingers because of the simple act of procrastination? You can't afford to keep delaying. The clock is ticking, and success doesn't stop for anyone. 4-0 mini, listen carefully. Procrastination thrives in autopilot mode. You don't even realize it's happening. You don't see it creeping in, sabotaging your progress, because it wears the mask of comfort, of familiarity. It whispers, you can do it later, or it's not a big deal right now. But let me tell you something, that's where it starts. The moment you begin to make excuses, you're giving procrastination permission to control you. So what's the first step to fighting back? Awareness. You need to catch yourself in the act. You need to train your mind to recognize those moments when hesitation starts to sneak in. When you say, I'll do it later, that's the alarm. That's the moment you need to take action. Not tomorrow, not in an hour, but right then and there. Small steps, that's all it takes. You don't have to tackle the whole mountain in one leap. Just take that first step, because here's the truth. Those small steps, they compound, they add up, and before you know it, you've built unstoppable momentum. So right now, recognize when you're making excuses. The next time you hear yourself say later, ask yourself, why not now? Don't let hesitation win. Replace it with action and turn that moment into momentum. 4-0 mini, let me tell you something. Perfectionism is a trap. It looks like a high standard, a noble pursuit, but in reality, it's a cage. It keeps you stuck. It convinces you that you can't start until everything is just right, that you need to have all the answers, all the tools, all the perfect conditions. But that's a lie. The most successful people don't wait for perfection. They jump in, even when it's messy. They start with what they have and they figure it out as they go. Let's be real. If you're waiting for everything to align perfectly, you'll be waiting forever. Perfection doesn't exist in the real world. You'll never have it all figured out in the beginning. So why keep waiting? Why keep procrastinating on the sidelines, watching life pass you by? Action is what creates momentum. Action is what breeds clarity. When you take the first step, the next one starts to reveal itself. You don't need to know every detail before you start. You just need to start. The path becomes clearer with each step you take. Progress is what matters, not perfection. You don't need to be flawless, you just need to be moving forward. And every move, no matter how small, builds momentum. Every messy start turns into growth. So stop waiting for the perfect moment. It doesn't exist. Commit to action even if it's imperfect. Because progress, my friend, always beats perfection. 4-0 mini, let me tell you something. Goals that stay in your head are nothing but dreams. They float around all nice and cozy, but they never become reality. You want to make it real? You want to make it happen? Then speak it out loud. Tell someone about your goals. Put it into the world. Let it breathe, but that's not enough. You need an accountability partner, someone who won't let you off the hook, someone who will challenge you who will push you when you falter. It's easy to make excuses when it's just you and your thoughts. But when you've told someone else, when you've made a promise, those excuses lose their power. You'll feel that pressure, that responsibility, and trust me, that's what you need. Set deadlines, real deadlines. Don't just say, I'll do it later. Later doesn't exist. Give yourself a date, a time, and put consequences on the line for inaction. If you don't follow through, what will happen? Will you lose an opportunity? Will you let someone down? Will you waste time you'll never get back? Pressure turns maybe into commitment. When others expect results from you, it's not just a nice thing you want to do anymore, it's something you have to do. And trust me, when you're in that zone, when your back is against the wall, you'll perform. You'll deliver. So make it real, make it urgent, and watch how quickly you rise to the occasion. 4O, mini O. Let me tell you something. Words are not just sounds. They are the architects of your reality. The way you speak isn't just how others hear you, it's how you create your world. Think about it. Every word you say carries weight. Every sentence is building the life you live. When you say, I can't, you're not just stating a fact. You're reinforcing your limitations. But when you say, I will, or I'm getting better, you're affirming your strength, your progress. Your words either empower you or disempower you. Every conversation is a chance to shape your future. Every sentence you speak can either be a brick in the foundation of your success or a crack in the structure of your dreams. Words carry momentum. They create energy. They build belief. They turn thoughts into action. So next time you speak, ask yourself, what is this word doing to me? Is it making me stronger or is it holding me back? Your words are your power. Use them wisely. 4O mini, have you ever felt ignored, overlooked, or dismissed? Let me ask you. Have you ever considered that your own language might be the reason? Your words are a reflection of your mindset, and if you're constantly using language that weakens your presence, you're setting yourself up for failure before you even begin. Words shape your confidence. They shape how others perceive you. When you speak with uncertainty, when you apologize for things you shouldn't, when you downplay your strengths, you're signaling to the world that you're not sure of your own value. You're teaching people that you don't deserve to be taken seriously. Even if that's not your intention, it's not just about vocabulary. It's about your self-respect, your authority, and your control over your own life. When you say, I'll try instead of I will, you're already giving yourself an out. When you say, I'm sorry too often, you're diminishing your own power. This subtle sabotage is holding you back step by step, conversation by conversation. But here's the truth, if you don't start speaking with purpose, with clarity, with strength, the world will continue to overlook you. Your words either claim your space or they shrink it. What kind of space do you want to take up? 4O mini O, let me tell you something. Words are powerful. They hold weight. The words you speak to others, and more importantly, the words you speak to yourself, shape your reality. The truth is, the most damaging words are often the ones you don't even notice. They sneak into your conversations, eroding your presence, your confidence, and your respect, bit by bit. These words aren't loud, they're not insults or direct attacks, but make no mistake, they are silent assassins, quietly undermining your power every single day. They may seem harmless, but they're stealing your authority and your influence. Little by little, it's time to expose them and take control. I'm going to break down 5 of the most destructive words you use every day, words that make you seem unsure, insecure, and powerless. And here's the kicker, you probably don't even realize you're using them. But once you remove them from your vocabulary, once you stop giving them the power to control your interactions, everything changes. People will see you differently. They'll treat you differently, and more importantly, you'll start seeing yourself differently. The first word is sorry. You're not sorry for being who you are, and you don't need to apologize for your presence. Cut it out. The second word is just. When you say just, you're minimizing your value. Stop shrinking yourself. Third, we have can't. This is a word of defeat. You need to replace it with I can. Fourth, maybe. It shows uncertainty. Don't leave things to chance. Make a decision. And finally, try. Trying means you're not committed. Either you will or you won't. Remove these words from your language and watch how quickly your confidence and respect soar. You're stronger than you think, and you don't need to apologize for owning your power. Don't let these words hold you back. Let's rise. 4O mini O. Eliminating weak language is only half the battle. You must replace it with power. You've already removed the words that sabotage your presence, but now it's time to replace them with language that commands attention. You want to be heard. You want to be respected. But that doesn't happen with hesitation, uncertainty, or apology. The truth is, words are the gateway to your influence. The right words will change how people listen to you, respond to you, and respect you. Let me tell you something. When you speak with authority, people feel it. They feel your conviction. They sense your power. And that's because your words are infused with confidence and certainty. Instead of I think, say I know. When you say I think, you open the door to doubt. You're unsure. But when you say, I know, you stand firm. You show that you trust yourself and your judgment. Instead of I need, say I want. Needs are weak. They put you in a position of desperation. Wants are driven by desire and ambition. It shows that you're in control. Instead of could you or can you, say I'd appreciate it if you, or let's do this. When you ask for something, don't beg for it, own it. Demand it with respect. Remember this, the language of confidence doesn't ask for permission, it makes a request. And when you speak with authority, people will start to listen. What you say and how you say it matters more than you think. You have to own your words if you want to own the room. 4-0 mini O. You already know what's standing in your way. You've felt it. You've seen it. It's been whispering in your ear for far too long, holding you hostage in a cycle of frustration and stagnation, fear, self-doubt, procrastination, excuses. These are the chains that have been tying you down, but the truth is, they're only as powerful as you allow them to be. Let me tell you something. No one is coming to save you. No one is going to take those chains off for you. You have to be the one to do it. And here's the hard truth. Most of us don't even realize we're holding on to them. We make excuses, we tell ourselves stories, we justify staying stuck. But deep down, you know what's holding you back. You've always known. So what's it going to be? Are you going to keep letting fear control your life? Are you going to let self-doubt convince you that you're not good enough? Are you going to let procrastination rob you of your potential? Here's the thing, if you don't confront these obstacles head on, they will control you. If you don't take action now, you'll look back a year from now, 5 years from now, and realize you've wasted your potential on excuses. This is your wake-up call. It's time to stop pretending. It's time to stop waiting for the perfect moment. The only perfect moment is now. What you do next and how you confront these obstacles will determine whether or not you break free. This is the moment. 4-0 mini O in this moment. You are standing at a crossroads. Do you feel it? That pull in your gut? That whisper in the back of your mind? It's the moment of truth. Right now, you have two choices and only you can make the decision. You can either step forward into change or you can stay stuck where you've always been. There's no middle ground. There's no third option. This is it. Let me tell you something. No one is coming to save you. You're not going to find the magic solution under a rock. There's no superhero waiting in the wings to rescue you. The only person who can make this decision, the only person who can change your life is you. If you're waiting for the perfect moment to act, it's never coming. Life doesn't wait for you to be ready. It's like a river. You either start swimming or you get swept away. So ask yourself, are you ready to swim? You felt stuck for long enough. You've waited and waited and waited. You've waited for the right time or for someone else to make the choice for you. But let me tell you something. There's no such thing as the right time. The right time is right now. You don't need permission. You don't need a sign from the universe. The decision is and always will be yours. So, what's it going to be? Will you stay stuck in the comfort of your current situation, or will you step forward and embrace the discomfort that comes with growth and change? The choice is yours, and it's one of the most powerful decisions you'll ever make. 4-0 mini O. Every excuse sounds reasonable until you realize they built the cage you live in. Think about it for a second. Every time you tell yourself you're not ready, that you don't have enough time, or that you'll start tomorrow, you're just adding another brick to the wall that's holding you back. The truth is, your excuses aren't keeping you safe. They're keeping you stuck. They're not protecting you, they're paralyzing you. And deep down, you know what the question is, will you keep living in that cage or will you break free? Here's the harsh reality. Your past does not have to dictate your future. The mistakes, the failures, the disappointments, they don't get to decide who you are today. You are not a prisoner of your past unless you choose to be. And every time you choose comfort over action, you hand over your power. Let me tell you something. Every successful person you admire has faced the same choice. They've been where you are. They've stared down their fears, their doubts, and their excuses, but they chose action. They chose to move, even when it wasn't easy, even when it wasn't clear, and even when they were scared. They took that first step, and then another, and another. So what will you choose? When this moment ends, you'll have two choices: act or stay the same. That's it. You can keep waiting for things to change on their own, or you can step into the life you've been dreaming of by taking that first action. Excuses will always be there, but so will the opportunity to change. The choice is yours. Will you break free from the cage, or will you let your excuses keep you locked in? 4-0 mini, you wasted enough time waiting for the right moment. How many times have you told yourself, I'll start tomorrow, or I'll wait until things calm down? You've convinced yourself that the right conditions have to align for you to take action, but let me tell you something. The right moment does not exist. If you keep waiting for it, you'll find yourself exactly where you are today, stuck, frustrated, and still hoping for change. The truth is, the only way to change your life is to take action. Imperfect, messy, real action. The idea that you have to be ready, that everything has to be perfect, is a lie. Change doesn't happen in a vacuum. It happens when you step outside your comfort zone and face the fear and uncertainty head on. You don't have to be flawless. You just have to be willing to start. Think about this. What will hurt more in the end? The discomfort of effort, the challenges and the mistakes you'll make along the way, or the pain of regret of knowing you could have done more, been more, but chose to wait? Every day you delay is a day you'll never get back. Every day you sit on the sidelines is a day that could have been spent building your future. No more waiting, no more delays. The time is now. If you keep waiting for perfect conditions, you'll miss the opportunity to create them. Stop looking for the right time and start making the time right. Take action now, even if it's not perfect. Move, even if you're scared. Because the longer you wait, the more you'll regret it. It's time to take back your life. It's time to stop making excuses. Your future is not a distant dream. It starts the moment you choose to take action. So stop waiting, get up, get moving, and make today the day you begin your transformation. The only thing standing between you and your future is the decision to act. 4-0 Mini.